As a legal officer for the union, I've represented a number of members who have faced unfair treatment due to their use of medically prescribed cannabis, despite following all the protocols and drug and alcohol policies implemented at their workplace. The same approach has not been taken by employers in the workplace, for example, when managing employees who are prescribed medications such as benzodiazepines and opioids that can also cause impairment and should be treated equally when assessing impairment.
If there was to be a more contemporary legislative or regulatory regime, what might that look like and where would it be located in terms of legislation?
You'll find that from the grassroots up to the senior manager, they have no understanding what the requirements are for OH&S, which is a really big issue here, because if we're talking about maintaining fatigue, they've had no training. And so that to me is something that probably should be linked back to WorkSafe to make it mandatory to do at least a 1-day course, if not a 2.
Without any legislative guidelines, without any legislative framework, gives companies the audacity to ask you to disclose if you are on Panadeine Forte, if you have taken Nurofen, if you have taken medication for gout. And some policies go as far as to say if you get tested and haven't disclosed that you're on a drug which is legal, which is not of impairment in nature, that they can terminate your employment.
There was a key case, Bird v Lafarge, Canada, where the worker did end up, it was an unfair dismissal, essentially, and the worker was found to be in breach, but they weren't in breach because they were using medicinal cannabis. They were in breach because they didn't bother to tell their employer. And employers over there have in place industrial mechanisms where you can disclose, the unions support you disclosing, and employers now have an imperative in Canada to provide reasonable adjustments. So this worker wasn't sacked for using medicinal cannabis. It was because they didn't follow the industrial process already put in place to protect that worker.